There in ZG land. Today we're going to go over how to make a weekly or bi-weekly prime cost report in QuickBooks. So you can see here I've already logged into QuickBooks um, through our Log Me In program. So what I want to do is first go to Reports, go to Company and Financial, pick my Profit and Loss Standard, and we're going to choose the weeks we're going to work with. So for instance, I want to work with the December 1st through the 7th. So as you can see here, this is our expanded layout of our P&L, which is very detailed. Has all our beer, everything that we've pulled from our journal entries from future POS, and goes all the way through. So what I want to do, just to make it easy to look at for now, is I'm going to go ahead and collapse it. This gives us our condensed version, and here we just have our total income, beverage, food, what we've spent, our cost of goods for this week. As you can see, there's no payroll in here for this week because we do payroll on a bi-weekly basis or every 2 weeks. So when we're doing these, don't be too concerned about these bottom costs, these fixed expenses, because those are done on the monthly, and we shoot for our 20% here. So remember, at 30, 30, 20, we're looking at 30% beverage cost, 30% food cost, 30% beverage cost, 30% food cost, 30% wages, and 20% everything else, which would be our fixed expenses down here. So how do we get this to show the 2 weeks we want to look at? You go to Customize Report, you choose the previous period, and I like to do the dollar change just so we can see money changed between week to week. If you want to do previous year, you can do previous year here, but what we're looking for is a 2-week period, basically the last 2 weeks. So right now I have 1 week chosen, 1st through the 7th. If I hit click previous period, it'll choose the week before. I also want to do percentage of income and hit OK. Now as you can see here, it's saying here's the week before. Week before we sold 22,688. This week we sold 22,305. So technically our sales went down 382. You can see the week before here actually has our payroll, so that's why this looks crazy big right now here. But again, it's a 2-week period. So my concern on this is not necessarily the payroll, what the payroll did. I'm really concerned with these top numbers. I want to see what my food and beverage costs were this week compared to this week. Now the confusing thing about this is that these numbers here, this is subtracting this from this to give you your dollar change, but truly this percentage of income is measuring this one, not this column. It's measuring the week you're using right here. So how do we get it to measure both so we can see the difference? That's where we use our Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and hit create new worksheet. You will need Excel on the computer that you're working on. I like to I want to see the whole, I want to be able to expand my Excel sheet and collapse my Excel sheet just like I do, go ahead, just like I do here. Because truly, if I want to see what happened, oh, okay, so I sold $400 less in entrees. See, I can see the detail there. And if I want to see my cost, for instance, down here, I would like to see, hey, okay, so I spent, $2,000 more on meat or proteins than I did the week before. So that's important to me. So I want to be able to expand and collapse my Excel sheet just like I do here. So we go to Excel, go create new worksheet. We go to advanced, and I want to show grid lines. I want to freeze the panes, which will keep my headers on the top and bottom from they'll always be visible as I scan across the worksheet. I also want to see auto outline. You see here, allows collapsing and expanding. So I'm going to go ahead, say those options are okay, and I'm going to go ahead and export. Now sometimes this takes a little while based on the amount of data, size of spreadsheet you're using. This one goes fairly quickly, but you'll see when you're doing massive spreadsheets like comparing every month to a previous year, it's a lot of data, so it takes a while to get compiled in Excel. So there we go. Now we're open. And you can see here, this comes straight off your QuickBooks. It's the 1st through the 7th, but technically we're looking at these two. So what I want to do here, and this is for me, for my convenience, and when I'm doing numbers, I go ahead and I collapse my totals here, because again, right now I'm just looking for the big numbers. My 30% food, my 30% beverage, and I'm not concerned with payroll right at the moment, because that's a 2-week calculation, a bi-weekly calculation. So I'm going to go ahead and just collapse that for now. Now I go down to one line for total payroll expenses. And you can see here, the total for the 2 weeks, so it'll be the previous week and this week, is 17,700. So if I want to do a 2-week calculation based on 2-week sales, I can. So but right now what we're looking for is, I'm going to go ahead and collapse beer, collapse liquor, and I like to, sometimes they come out with these double lines here. I like to just go ahead and double click on that, clean that up a little bit. Here's another one, double click. I need to see my beer, my liquor, my NA beverage, and my total wine here. So again, food, since we're working on just the big number, I can go ahead and collapse it all the way down here. And then I'm looking at so I got separate lines for my liquor, beer, wine, everything, and I've got just one line for food. So what I'm going to do, because I want to get these like right in here so I can see them right next to each other, just for me it's an easier layout. I'm going to go ahead and cut this and then paste it. You always want to do cut and paste, because if you do copy and paste, the formulas won't work correctly. So you do cut and paste here. Go ahead and clean that up a little bit. Clean that up a little bit. There we go. Alright, and I got to shrink this down just a little bit so I can see everything kind of on the one page here. So the first one, what we're looking for is I want to get my beer cost. I'll collapse that beer too. So I just have total beer, total liquor, total wine, and a beverage. Now what this is doing right now is it's calculating the total percent of this. So basically, or of total sales. So it's saying that up here, percentage of total sales, it's saying that my $287.05 is 1.29% of total income. That's not what I'm looking for. I need to know what it was of my beer. So what I need to do here is go, this is actually equal to small number, your cost, divided by large number, what you brought in, If it's not a larger number, you're in big trouble. Liquor here, same thing. Small number, cost, divided by. Now I put happy hour drink and liquor together here. So we can go, we're going to go ahead and put a parentheses, so it groups these together. This plus liquor, and then another parentheses. So that's saying 190 divided by the total of these two, 8%. NA beverage, I can we'll actually put that in with here. So we're going to go ahead and do a parentheses on this side too. So we'll go that plus NA beverage equals that. So 8.16. Liquor cost. Now wine, this one should be pretty easy. You go equals this divided by this, 40%. Beverage other. I usually don't mess with that too much. Usually beverage other for us is just something like keg deposits, you know, stuff like that. So I just leave that in there. And I go here to get my total beverage. So I go this divided by total beverage sales here. And then food is equal to food cost divided by food sales. There you go. Total cost of goods. This one should be okay because it's automatically dividing the total cost here, this total cost of goods, divided by this. We'll go ahead and just for good measure go here divided by total income, food and beverage, 34.23. That gives us our gross profit of 65%. So now that we've got this formula done, go ahead and again, this one you can do copy, this one you can do paste. The reason you do cut on the first one is because it's pulling off these numbers. So what it's telling, even though it's way over here, it's telling it to pull it off here. So when you cut and copy these formulas, it's saying, all right, pull it off the one right next to it. If I were to paste it over here, you get nothing because it's looking for the number right next to it. Alright, so now you can see you have a nice and neat report, what you're looking for. You can see here that beer for this, your beer percentage for this week was 39%. For the week before it was 45%, and so on. Liquor, NA beverage, we'll just delete this because we actually put that in the one up top. And again, here's your, you got a keg deposit here and a keg pickup here. So anyway, here's what you're looking at. And food costs, 33% this week, 17% this week. Now, what you're looking at here is this is where you can say, okay, why are my food costs so low this week and so high this week? It's going to happen week to week based on, this may have been a really busy week. May have sold a ton of food without buying a ton. Now this week, you're looking at, okay, I got to restock my inventory. So there's a good chance that's why that all went up. If you want to look at it and really get into it and see why your food costs are doing this, you can see here, you can expand this, and you can see, oh, okay, I spent dollar change, $2,000 more here, $400 more here. It just kind of all across the whole order spectrum. And you don't want to panic on a week-to-week basis over that stuff. It's good to look at it weekly and see where you're at, but know that your costs are going to go up and down a little bit that way. Now, I'm going to go ahead and collapse food. because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look for, I want to get a total for the 2 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this one, this week here, and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to go ahead and just put it right here, paste it all in, okay? And it's showing here 771, 771 because it's the same number. What I want to do is I want to find out what my 2 week is. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to go this plus this, enter, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and copy that formula. And I'm going to go ahead and paste it down through cost of goods sold and gross profit, because I'm not really worrying about expenses. Those are my month-long expenses. So for this report, I don't really need to worry about it. I'm going to go paste formula. So that gives me, you know, it adds the 2 weeks together all the way across the whole thing. Our percentages are working correctly because we're going across, you know, dividing by the new total numbers here. And if you want to make this neat and clean, you can just change this to 2 week total. So now we have a nice clean report that shows our total income for each week, our total income for 2 weeks, and it's showing our cost of goods. So we're looking at 39% on beer this week, 45% this week. So when you carry it across and you take 641 divided by total beer here, you get 42.91%. See that? So liquor, 9.84%, wine, 47. This brings our total beverage down to 25.6 for the 2 week period. For food, again, we spent big here, not as big here. The two percentages come together, give you an average for the 2 weeks of 25.24%. Now here's where you can look at your payroll expenses, because you've got nothing here, and then all your payroll loads up in the other week. So you're looking at, for those 2 weeks, basically, you know, you're at 40% payroll. And again, that is total payroll divided by total sales, or total income. Big number, or small number divided by the big number. That gives us your payroll totals. So you can see here now you're looking at 25%, 25.6% beverage, 25.24% food, and 40% payroll, which gives us a total cost of goods of 67.55. So that's pretty much it for the week by week P&L from QuickBooks. I'm sorry, prime cost report from QuickBooks. Now, what I would do here, if it was me and I was bringing it to my managers, I would go ahead and take all this stuff off the bottom. We'll go ahead and delete. So all we're looking at here is prime cost, payroll, prime cost beverage, prime cost food, total cost of goods, and gross profit. Again, in an ideal world, you'd be running 30% on your food and beverage, 30% on your payroll. That would leave you with 40% gross profit here. And I can show you another way this is actually kind of fun to do, figure out what you would have spent. Now let's just put a 30% here. Go ahead and we'll make this column percentages, not 3,000%. 30% here, and if we want to find out what 30% of our total sales were. So we can go, this is equal to our total for 2 weeks times 30%. Okay? Make this dollars. The way my brain works, I like to have the dollar symbol there. so I can just see, and we'll go ahead and figure out what the difference is that we overspent if we were hitting our 30. So we can say this is equal to this. No, let's do it this way because it's going to be a positive number, which isn't good. Negative would be better. So we're going to go, this is equal to this minus this, enter. Basically, for 2 weeks we overspent 42.88. If we want to go again, we can put that 14 days, and we can go, this is equal to this divided by 14 days. Basically, if we wanted to hit the labor on that, we needed to shave $306 a day in labor. These are typically, slower 2 weeks for us. So, we're not going to get up in arms about this, but it's not right now. But that gives you a good heads up to look at your, when you're talking with your managers, you can say, all right, ideally, if we wanted to hit 30% here, we need to look at shaving this much. We can do the same thing for the beverage. Now, again, you're looking at, your food here and your beverage here, and they're great. So you're not really that worried about it because you're coming in under. The real thing here is, $4,000 extra in payroll. So, if we want to go here and say, we'll do this one, we'll do this. We want this number to be 60. So we're going to go here. And again, total cost or total income times our percentage. This is equal to this minus this. So basically that's what we're looking at. We overspent. And that's the difference between where we overspent here and made it up a little bit in food and beverage. To get this down to 60%, we needed to save 397 total for 2 weeks, and we would go equal this divided by 14 days or 2 weeks, or $242 a day. So when you're looking at it with your managers, that's where you're going to look. And you're going to say, hey, you know what? Congratulations. You're kicking ass here on food and beverage. We really like that. Keep up the good work. You may be looking at things like, okay, do we have some pricing issues here? Why are we 42% on beer? What's going on with wine? Why are we 47% there? We should be priced in around 30. We do some happy hour, so that's going to throw things off, etc. But that's more for the analysis for you to do. You can see here at this restaurant, we really make it up on the NA beverage and liquor, and that's what gives us a nice 25% here. Profit, if we wanted to do, just to see what the profit would have been, we can go 40% here, and we'll go, this one is equal to total income times 40%. So the difference, 17,997, this. So we're going to go, this is equal to this minus this. That's going to give us our negative number because that's the extra money we should have had over a 2-week period. Again, it's going to be the same thing here. Oops. We're going to put our 14 days in here and go equal to here divided by 14. Same thing. So, you can look at it as we overspent or we lost us some profit, potential profit, etc., etc. But that gives you a nice way to do, a week-to-week comparison. So then you would go ahead and you'd save this, and email it out. So we'll do save as. We'll put it in our. I'll just go ahead and put it on the desktop, just for an example. Maybe. Maybe not. So anyway, of course you're not going to respond right now. You can do the whole process also if you want to do a 2-week comparison. Like for instance here, if we want to go the 7th through the 24th, or the 24th of November through the 7th. So now it changes. You have your 2 weeks here compared to the 2 weeks before. This is a nice one because it gives you your payrolls side by side, nice and neat. There you go. Payroll expenses. You can see where you've done this and that. Again, remember this one is only doing this one. Remember that 67% we built in the spreadsheet? There it is right there, 60% total cost of goods. So you can go, month to month, or 4-week period to 4-week period. So we'll bump this up to 10. Now we're looking at November 10th through December 7th, 4-week period over 4-week period. Again, you can see the sales. You can see your, oh, sorry, that's cost of goods. Bump it up a little bit. You can see the sales, your fluctuation. You can see your cost of goods fluctuation. You can see where your payroll is adjusted. And this is a good planning thing. You can also do it. We'll change this and we'll do previous year. But unfortunately, this one is, your days of the week are not exact like they were the year before. So you can't really see, day to day. You can't see a Monday through Sunday by doing it this way comparing to the previous year. This is more data entry. You're going to have to go and cut and paste in your Excel, do stuff like that. Anyway, you get the point. I'm just going to skip this save as. You get the point of where we're going. You save it, you email it out to your management, and that, my friend, is where you're at. So that is lesson for today. Any questions, you can get a hold of me, email, telephone, and I thank you.